The Red Fort blast probe is taking a dramatic new turn. The spotlight has now shifted to one of the arrested individuals. Dr. Shaheen, a former medical professor, was allegedly plotting to build a suicide squad to carry out coordinated terror attacks across India under Jaish-e-Mohammed's banner. You heard that right. Sources have told WION that Dr. Shaheen, arrested from Faridabad, had reportedly been collecting explosives for the past 2 years. And during the interrogation, she is believed to have confessed that she, along with a group of fellow doctors, was planning terror strikes across India. Just for context here, Dr. Shaheen was arrested for her alleged role in what officials call a white-collar terror module. Basically, a network of educated professionals allegedly working to revive sleeper cells in India. And the investigators believe that her role could be a big link in the chain after bomber Umar, who is suspected to have driven that Hyundai i20 that exploded near the Red Fort on Monday. And sources saying Shaheen's task basically was to create a suicide bomber squad, using her credibility and background to expand the terror network's recruitment base. The daughter of a retired health department employee, Dr. Shaheen is now the face of that terror plot, with links possibly stretching from Faridabad to the Red Fort blast site in Delhi. And the investigators suspect the Faridabad module may be linked to that car explosion that killed at least 8 people and injured 20 others. What's more, the investigative agencies believe that Sadia Azhar, the sister of Jaish-e-Mohammed founder Masood Azhar, who heads the women's wing in Pakistan, may have directly assigned the task to Dr. Shaheen. Sadia's husband, Yusuf Azhar, was in fact one of the masterminds behind the 1999 Kandahar hijacking. Security officials say Dr. Shaheen was in contact with handlers across the border through secret social media channels, tasked with expanding Jaish-e-Mohammed's recruitment base by mobilizing sympathizers to support the terror group's activities in India. Now, all of these details coming in as the Indian investigative agencies probe the deadly Red Fort blast that has put the entire country on edge. Remember, on Monday, November 10, that massive blast in a Hyundai i20 near Delhi's iconic Red Fort left at least 8 people dead. CCTV footage showing a Mars driver, the car carrying a Haryana registration number. The explosion followed a string of seizures across states. Nearly 350 kilograms of explosives and AK-47 rifle, thousands of rounds of ammunition recovered in coordinated raids by Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, the Intelligence Bureau. In fact, the authorities are now probing whether the Red Fort car bomber was part of the same Faridabad-based module. That module had yielded an additional 360 kilograms of inflammable material and roughly 3,000 kilograms of IED-making material. All evidence that basically points to a well-organized, resource-rich terror network operating under the radar. The police have described this as part of a white-collar terror ecosystem, with suspected links to Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed and Al-Qaeda-linked Ansar Ghazwat-ul-Hind. We've been telling you about this. Now, it is Dr. Shaheen's profile that is shocking many. Naturally, the woman who studied medicine, worked as a lecturer, and was allegedly running a secret mission to create India's first female suicide squad. Earlier in Lucknow, the Uttar Pradesh Anti-Terrorism Squad and the National Investigation Agency jointly raided her family home, interrogated her father, her brother. Mohammad Shoaib says he is in disbelief. Listen to this.
नहीं, हमारी तवज्जो देखिए बिल्कुल सीधी बात है कि इन गतिविधियों में हमारे भाई बहन बिल्कुल लिप्त नहीं है। 4 साल से मतलब संपर्क में था, उसके बाद ये 4 साल के बाद ये हम संपर्क में नहीं डॉक्टर परवेज यहाँ नहीं आते थे। कब से उनसे भी 3 साल से आना जाना बंद है।
Now, multiple agencies are piecing together Shaheen's trajectory from being a government doctor to allegedly becoming a key figure in a Pakistan-linked network. Investigators believe Dr. Shaheen's arrest has exposed how educated professionals were being used to give legitimacy to terror operations. For now, the way things stand, Dr. Shaheen's arrest is being seen as a turning point in this investigation, a case that's revealing how terror networks are evolving from traditional camps to what the authorities now call white-collar terror. Educated professionals, doctors, individuals with access, credibility, so-called credibility, and reach, allegedly turning to extremist networks in such a way. And the woman once known as Dr. Shaheen may have been plotting India's first pan-national suicide squad. The probe is continuing, of course, with the NIA, the Delhi police, Jammu and Kashmir police coordinating across states in India to try and dismantle what appears to be one of the most sophisticated terror modules uncovered in recent years. And our correspondents on the ground have been tracking those developments very closely. Take a look at these reports sent by our correspondents.
I'm reporting from outside the Al Falah University. This is the university from where Dr. Muzammil, Dr. Umar, Dr. Shaheen, they all worked here. Dr. Umar is at large. The other two have been arrested along with a number of other doctors who all find some kind of a link back to this university. This university has been in the center of the storm ever since the blast outside the Red Fort on the 10th of November. Just 500 meters from here is the storeroom where at least 2,900 kilograms of ammonium nitrate, explosive material, was found hours before that Delhi blast. As we speak, the NIA, the UP ATS, the Haryana Police Special Cell, the police officials from Delhi, they're all inside in this university and the search is going on. We've seen a number of cars, even from Jammu and Kashmir, the police officials there. They are here in this university searching the campus and the probe is continuing. We will be tracking this very closely. For now, that's all. I'm Shivan Chalna reporting for WION World is One with Ajit, camera person.
Jammu and Kashmir police have intensified their operations across the Kashmir Valley after the Faridabad terror module bust as well as the Red Fort blast. Jammu and Kashmir police carried out multiple raids across various parts of the Kashmir Valley and around 3 doctors were picked up in connection with the Faridabad terror module bust for questioning. The family members of Dr. Muzammil were also picked up for questioning by Jammu and Kashmir police. Meanwhile, the DNA sampling of Dr. Umar's mother and brother were taken to Delhi, while as both mother and father were left and released to go back to their home. On the other hand, we've seen that around 230 places were raided by Jammu and Kashmir police, especially on the houses of the Jamaat-e-Islami members. It's a banned organization in Kashmir, and the former members were raided by Jammu and Kashmir police. According to Jammu and Kashmir police, 500 people were questioned with regard to that as well.
All right, while we will keep keeping a close eye on the latest coming in, more breaking inputs coming in right this minute on the Delhi blast probe in what is being said to be a sleeper cell crackdown. 9 reported to have been taken into custody from Kanpur. That's the latest coming in at this point. All learned to be linked or associated with Dr. Shaheen in some way or the other. We just told you about the investigation focusing on Dr. Shaheen's role as well. Now, her husband, who has said that she separated after she wanted to go abroad, if she visited abroad, and the purpose, all of these under investigation as well. Let's go straight across now to our correspondent Dharamjot Kaur, who's been tracking those developments. What more can you share with us at this point?
Well, Molly, this is an increasing crackdown. The one in Kanpur, as you just mentioned, where 9 have been detained. This has come just a day after 7 were detained in Lucknow. Now, it's important to note here, when I was on ground on the day that the explosion happened, UP ATS officials had reached just within hours of that explosion at 6:52 p.m. on Monday evening. So the anti-terror squad from Uttar Pradesh has been very, very deeply involved in the investigation since the word go. Now, it remains to be seen how far this expands further into different cities. cities and states. We've seen a crackdown in Lucknow. We're seeing one in Kanpur right now. All of this is happening along with the entire investigation into the Faridabad module, the investigation into the car that was involved in this explosion, investigation into the identity confirmation of the person who was in that car, the Hyundai i20 that is in question, investigation into the second car that is now in the picture, a red Ford vehicle that police apprehended just a few hours ago from a village in Faridabad. So there's a lot of crackdown that's happening simultaneously as it's all hands on deck with several agencies involved in this particular investigation. But as you rightly pointed out, all of this is now being linked back to Dr. Shaheen, the one that we just spoke at length about. Now, there's not a lot of information that's coming from her family because in terms of her ex-husband, they were divorced more than 10 years ago. There's not a lot that he knows about her presently. The brother, as you mentioned, has not spoken to her in years. The parents just occasionally checked onto her, checked on her for her well-being. So there's not a lot that we're getting from the family front. But as the investigation goes further, we're learning that more and more cities, more and more pockets across not just Uttar Pradesh but also other parts of the country, there is a simultaneous crackdown happening, because now the question is not just about what and why and how the explosion happened near Red Fort. The question is also about how widespread this entire network is, for how long it has been functioning. Now, just to give a little bit of context here, Molly, a lot of dates have been in circulation now as the probe goes on further. A lot of significant dates like 26th of January from this year, that is a date that is being taken into consideration. Maybe there was a plan to have an attack around that time. Then came the date of Diwali that is under speculation. Was there an attack planned around that time? The date of December 6th, which is yet to come, which is the anniversary of the Babri Mosque demolition, that date is also doing the rounds as a possible angle of investigation in terms of understanding were this nexus planning an attack during this period of time. So all of those are still questions. There's no formal statement. There's no confirmed answer to these questions yet. But all of these angles, all of these possibilities are currently under probe to understand what exactly was the intent and magnitude of the blast that was planned, because we still don't know if the explosion that happened on Monday evening happened as per plan or was it an accident, Molly.
Right. We're leaving it there for the moment. Thanks very much for those updates for now. Italian prosecutors in Milan have launched an investigation into allegations that some Italian citizens paid to join Bosnian Serbian forces and shoot civilians for fun during the siege of Sarajevo in the early 1990s. The probe led by the prosecutor focuses on what has been called, or what have been called, weekend snipers, who are foreigners allegedly, and mainly far-right sympathizers with a passion for weapons. These snipers allegedly traveled to the hills surrounding Sarajevo to fire on the besieged city's residents. In fact, the siege of Sarajevo, one of the longest in modern history, lasted from 1992 to 1996 and claimed over 11,000 lives. The allegations under investigation include extreme acts of cruelty, with witnesses claiming that payments were even differentiated depending on whether victims were civilian soldiers or children. The case was triggered by a complaint filed in January by a journalist supported by lawyers and former magistrate. The complaint compiles testimonies, intelligence reports, documents detailing the presence of Italians in Sarajevo as early as 1993. One report claims that Italian citizens traveled under the guise of hunting trips. They used networks linked to Serbian security services, allegedly, and logistical support from companies in former Yugoslavia. Among the evidence cited is the 2022 documentary, which explores the disturbing phenomenon of war tourists who are wealthy foreigners who allegedly paid to shoot civilians during that siege. The investigation also seeks to verify potential links with Italian intelligence at the time, which were reportedly informed about the presence of these armed Italians, but did not act. The inquiry could potentially uncover one of the darkest and most shocking episodes of foreign involvement during that war. On a brightly lit stage in Barcelona, the crowd erupts as Roya Karimi steps forward. Once a teenage mother and child bride in Afghanistan, she has gone on to become one of Europe's top bodybuilders. At just 15, Roya was married off as a child in Afghanistan. As a teenage mother, she was trapped in a life with strict social restrictions where even the simplest freedoms like education or exercise were denied to girls. Yet, she dared to dream. In 2011, she escaped Afghanistan with her mother and young son and took refuge in Norway. The early years were a struggle, a new language, a foreign culture, the daunting task of rebuilding her life from scratch. She trained, she studied, and eventually became a nurse. But it was bodybuilding that truly transformed her life. What started out as a way to stay fit became a path to reclaim her body, her identity, her freedom. Her journey to that competitive stage was fast and fearless. Less than 2 years ago, she took the bold step of leaving her nursing career behind to pursue bodybuilding professionally. Supported by her husband, who himself is a bodybuilder, she shattered personal and cultural barriers. Her victories have been nothing short of meteoric. Triumphed at the Norway Classic 2025, earned her place at the World Bodybuilding Championships as well. She hopes to use her achievements to inspire Afghan women, many of whom remain trapped under severe restrictions since the Taliban's return. From being a child bride in Afghanistan to a European bodybuilding championship, her journey is a story of triumph against all odds, to say the least. It's living proof that determination can rewrite your destiny. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.